Joining me now live is Sergeant Aaron Schmautz, the president of the Portland Police Association. That's the union representing hundreds of officers as well as some emergency dispatchers. Aaron, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so we wanted to talk with you about police staffing in light of that ballot effort. So first, is the Portland Police Association involved in this petition effort in any way?
We certainly are supporting it. We've provided some financing for it. I mean, this is, a long-going conversation, and our community has reached out to us and many other people. It's community-led, but over and over and over again, just talking about their need for relationship and connection with law enforcement, and we just need to be able to provide those services.
Are you concerned at all by allegations that some canvassers may have misrepresented what the measure would fund?
No, I mean, first of all, it's been very clear what the measure does, but 63,000 people in 10 weeks said that they want to have a relationship with their police officers. And so we feel very strong, very good about the effort, and we feel very clear about the message. SaferPortland.com is out there for everyone to look, and there was no effort to mislead voters.
Okay. Even though some of the videos that we saw might dispute that claim?
Sure. I mean, first of all, the videos don't show the full picture, and they also were illegally obtained. But aside from that, again, people over and over and over again, every meeting we've been in on the streets have said that they want to see this thing on the ballot, and we're just trying to give voters voice.
Okay, so paint me the current picture of Portland Police, right? How many sworn officers does Portland currently have, and how many does the union believe that the city needs?
So, there's a lot of different ways of comparing police staffing, but I think there's a lot of mystery and tension and being fused into the conversation. We have less than half of what the national average is, and I think even with the officers we do have right now, we have around 800 officers, but in 2023, we had 9 officers on probation. We have 97 today, and so we have about 100 times the amount of people who are not deployable. And we've seen the outcome of that. And the very same people who are arguing about how we're going to get this thing on the ballot or how we're going to have conversations are the ones who advocated for the policies that defunded our police department. So, right now in Portland, you are 212% more likely, per the stats from the FBI, to be a victim of property crime. People are not getting the help they need. They're not having the kind of relationship they need. And we don't have officers who can be out patrolling the community so that when something happens, we have available responders. Almost all of our officers are on calls all the time. And that just leads to a significant, level of discord and feeling of unsafety in our city.
So can hiring more officers actually reduce 911 response times, or are there other bottlenecks in the system?
So most of the bottlenecks that we saw in 2020 post-COVID with all the issues at the state have been fixed. There's been several reports in the city. I also represent our dispatchers. It was through a robust hiring effort that we saw that first bottleneck. When you call, getting to a caller, go way down. And so we know that by hiring more people, and it also seems kind of common sense, that most of these issues that we're facing are capacity issues. And so getting back to, again, just to where we were in 2005 when I got hired, we had 1,057 police officers. And again, 808 today. Our belief is that by hiring 400 more police officers and having a consistent staffing profile, Portlanders can know what to expect and can develop those relationships, and we can have long-going programs to support our city.
Currently, are there neighborhoods or precincts feeling the staffing shortage more than others?
I think that, the city, this is a huge city, and so we have 3 precincts instead of 5 like we used to have, and so we're not positioned as well as we used to be in the city. And so officers may experience a 45-minute drive time from one end of the city to the other just to respond to a call. And so again, we want to make sure that, getting back to the right number of precincts that are in each district, having enough police officers so that you have both officers on calls who can do fulsome investigations, but also having officers who can respond in real time because they're not always on calls.
So a viewer wrote into us today saying too many officers will often show up to calls where perhaps they aren't needed. Who decides how many units should go to and stay on a call?
Sure. I mean, I think it's important to recognize the style of policing in Portland has been informed by community concern and frankly, by a lot of our elected officials. We're dealing with much more high acuity mental health and drug addiction calls, and having the right amount of resources and taking the right amount of time leads to better outcomes. But again, those things are capacity issues. When I was new, you would send 1 or 2 officers to some of the calls that we send 4 or 5 now to. You also will see a supervisor I'm a sergeant for the Portland Police Bureau. You'll see sergeants at most calls that have any kind of tactical element because all of the research and frankly our consent decree has advised that having sergeants on calls helps to better outcome. But again, it's a capacity issue. And so if you ever have questions about a call, frankly, people can call me. I'm happy to look into things, but also, go into a precinct and ask about what happened, or email the police bureau, and I'm sure they'd be happy to talk to you. But we don't have the resources to have people just standing around.
So Portland Police Chief Bob Day was asked about this very issue during a budget work session, and he said it's something that the Bureau needs to focus on and to work on, that having too many officers on scene for extended periods of time. Have you heard about any of those efforts?
Well, I mean, again, we have at any given time dozens of calls for service holding, and so officers are clearing as soon as they can. I do know that our supervisors are paying very close attention to when we can release resources, but the last thing we want to do is clear a scene before it's stable and have it then become an even higher acuity call. And we've seen this with some of our partners too. If you have, Portland Street Response or other responders who are very, very good partners, but if we don't have the outcome we need at the end of the call and we all leave and the call then ramps up and we have to come back, that's not a good service to our community either.
Okay, Sergeant Smouts, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, now it's your turn. We want to hear from you. What do you think about Portland police staffing and the allegations against those gathering signatures for the initiative to use those climate dollars to hire more officers? Did anything that you hear tonight surprise you or change your mind on the topic? Let us know. Email the story at kgw.com or call and leave us a voicemail, 503-226-5090.